If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, Mike Heck here in Boston, Massachusetts, a couple of days away from UFC Boston, being joined by Darren Stewart, who's going to be taking on Deron Winn at the event. How are you, man?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Doing fantastic. How are you enjoying Boston thus far?
Beautiful place. Not too loud, not too quiet, just right.
Is this what you expected Boston to be like? Is this your first time here?
First time here, I never knew much about Boston. I know Americans can be wild, but here is a nice place. Like I said, not too quiet, not too loud, just perfect.
It's beautiful scenery around here too, right?
Very beautiful scenery.
In terms of this fight, because we had spoken a couple months back, we talked about Deron Winn. You guys had the back and forth on social media. You explained you said you were going to be pretty surprised if he took this fight. Now that it was signed, what was your reaction to it once he actually put pen to paper?
He's got to do what you got to do. You got to back it up. You can't give that talk and not take the fight. So it wasn't really surprising, but it's what it is when I rock and roll.
How excited are you for this compared to other fights? Because a lot has been said between both of you guys. Does it give you a little more ammunition, a little more motivation here, or is it just like any other fight to you?
Any other fight, 'cause I've had it before. Even before UFC, I've had people come and talk crap about me. So it's just another day in the office.
His height is one of the things people talk about heading in there, that he's tough to prepare for. But you had said that coming from England, coming from where you're from, a lot of the guys in your gym are that size anyways. So how much of an advantage do you think that's going to be heading into this fight? And is he going to be prepared for someone who has sort of those expectations already?
Yeah, he's preparing for someone like me because obviously all the guys he trains with are about my height or taller. Where I'm training at, I have to find big people to train with because a lot of the guys in the middleweight division are really, really big. So more time, the guys I train with are his size. So I know people saying, I don't know why people are saying what you just said about the advantage that he's short, because if anything, it should be easier. I'm not taking nothing away from it because MMA is MMA. You get caught with them gloves, you're going down. But it's less pressure for me. I don't have to reach up in the air with a shot. I don't have to just lift my leg up high and throw this kick. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just standard height. He's a standard height that I always train with. So it's just another day in the office for me.
He's had one fight in the UFC against a guy that you fought and finished rather quickly. He went 3 hard rounds with him. Were you impressed by his UFC debut against a guy like Eric Spicely?
Not really. He had the most significant strikes in middleweight history, but you didn't put the guy down once. I fought that guy and took him out of a jab. I don't know how many strikes. I think it's 37 or 40 something like that. I took him down with a jab. I can understand his hype. He's from AKA unbeaten, and he's got a new record of the most significant strikes. But how have you got that many strikes and not put the man down? Now again, I'm not saying I think like MMA is MMA. You get clipped with them gloves, you're going down. But to me, it was hitting pure gloves, and Spicely was just standing there. Spicely's not a mover like me. Spicely's not a striker like me. So you're hitting pure glove, just look good for the camera, for the judges. You didn't really try to put him out. And Spicely rocked you didn't rock him. So, yeah, whatever.
Are you a guy that goes back and watches your opponent's fights from sort of start to finish? I mean, I know his timeline of his career in terms of professional MMA. It's not a ton to go off of, especially in the UFC. He's only got the one fight. But are you a guy that goes back and watches old footage, old fights to learn tendencies, or you just really focus on yourself?
Before UFC, I used to. I got to UFC, I stopped. I kind of do it again now because my mental state is much better than it was before. I used to be a thing where I watch them and then I imagine that they're going to do exactly the same thing. And I will expect that same thing on the night. It never happens. So then I stopped doing it. So I leave it to my coaches. But now I have a little butchers. Like, I have a look here and there. And but I just believe, and I've seen it before, that my movement can go against anyone in this division. No one moves like me. Take away my power, my speed, whatever you want to call it. Just my movement alone, no one can deal with. And I get told, I move like a lightweight, I hit like a heavyweight. I get told that I get told that Deron Winn should be a welterweight, really. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not going to match my speed. Like, I'm going to keep him at range and just pepper him. Like the sport fencing, in and out, in and out. He wants me to go there and be that old Darren, stand and bang, hope for the best, get a bonus, and then I might overcommit and he'll take me down. I love that style, but that's a fighter style. I'm a martial artist. That's the big difference that I've gained, and I've grown as a fighter now. I'm a martial artist now. He ain't getting that from me, so he better be ready.
You've matured a lot as a fighter, correct?
And very, very. I mean, he reminds me a lot of me when I first got into UFC. I believe them significant strikes he threw was out of nerves. You know, he rushed and he threw so many strikes out of nerves. It's his debut. You can pretend you can go on like, yeah, I'm not nervous in that, but you are. And he's called me out. He's not respecting my style, my fight game. He's not respecting my experience. And I've learned. I've been where he is. Yeah, experience is a big thing. Yeah, do not underestimate it. And he definitely is. And you're gonna see that. You know, he's got no gas tank. You know, he thinks he's good at striking, but everyone you fought, like I said before, has been in front of you. And don't underestimate my power. I've got grappling. Like, we can go to the floor. Like my boy Curtis says, innit, I'm dangerous off my back. You get me? Like, I'm dangerous off my back. So people don't know this. So it's like, he's a wrestler. He's going to take you down, Darren. Okay. What next? No one talk about what. If I take you down, people say, Darren's dangerous. He'll ground and pound you. He's going to take me down. So what? Yeah, there's nothing else. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to it.
How do you see this fight playing out? Could we see a submission off your back in this fight? Is that something we could see here?
Hopefully, yeah. I'm looking to sub him. Definitely. Because
is that the plan?
Can't say the plan on camera, but if it happens, it happens. Yeah.
You see a lot of advantages in this fight.
A lot. His thing is that he's gonna wrestle me. A lot of people think that he's gonna. Yeah, a lot of people think he's gonna wrestle me. He says he's gonna make me go into. He's going to strike me for the first round and then put me to deep waters in the second and third by grappling me. But he hasn't been in deep waters. If you've known me, I've been in deep waters before UFC. And if he's been in deep waters in training, it's not the same as fight night. If anything, you know what, yeah? If anything, when you look at it, he was in deep waters with Spicely at some point. And Spicely took that fight 2 weeks' notice.
Actually.
Less than that, like, and Spicy rocked him, and he was in deep waters with him. Like, come on, like, I've been there, done that. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
you've had some great moments in your career so far. You've had a lot of exciting fights, but we talked about you maturing as a fighter. I feel like the Bevon Lewis fight was a perfect example of that, and I think in this fight you have a great opportunity to really. This could be like a big showcase fight for you. Do you see it that way as well, with the hype surrounding Deron at this point? Very,
very, very. I believe Bevon was a tough opponent than this guy. You know, MMA's MMA, anything can happen. But I believe Bevon was a more dangerous fighter than this guy. What Bevon done to Uriah Hall, everyone said, you know what, Darren, be careful. He's going to rush out and do this and that to you. He didn't do it once. So it's like, Darren's going to rush out and do this to you. Let's see if he does it once. When I'm in front of you, it's a different ball game. Like, there's no one in this division that moves like me. You haven't fought no one that moves like me. I say it every interview I do because it's the truth. Show me a middleweight in UFC that moves like me. There is no one. So it's going to be exciting. So.
Last thing for me, do you feel like this is the best time to be in this division right now? We have Israel Adesanya as the new champion. Robert Whittaker's no longer the champion. There's a lot of fresh matchups, a lot of interesting movement in this division. Do you feel like the timing of this fight and just being in this division is perfect right now?
Oh, definitely. Like, for me, the middleweight division is standing out the most. And that's what I want to go into, that division. Obviously, if the lightweight division was standing out the most, I can't do that. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy, unless the money's right. But yeah, it's the most exciting time. I'm looking forward to it. Just to say that I'm here right now at the time where the middleweight division is blowing up. It is a privilege to be here.
Darren Stewart, everybody, takes on Deron Winn this Friday at the TD Garden, UFC Boston on ESPN2. Thank you, sir.